We welcome you to the beautiful city of Cincinnati, Ohio. It's game one of a four-game series between the San Diego Padres and the Cincinnati Reds from Great American Ballpark. Well, in this one tonight, you'll see Joey Votto at first base for the Cincinnati Reds. He's got an 11-game hitting streak, .485 the batting average along the way with 3 home runs and 9 runs batted in. And how about Manuel Margot? Been going very well over the last 12 games, hitting at .360 with 4 homers and 10 runs batted in. Both in the lineup tonight in game one of the series. Welcome you inside the broadcast booth. Welcome to Padres baseball. Don Orsillo along with Mark Grant. It is game one of this series, and tonight we'll see Jhoulys Chacín on the mound. Chacín tonight looking for win number 12 of the year.
Couldn't come at a better time pitching on the road. Remember earlier in the year, his road home splits were just totally opposite. Well, he is making progress the last 3 or 4 road starts. Let's go back to July 1st. Since then, the veteran right-hander, 5-0, the nice ERA, very few walks, and the strikeouts are nice too. Almost a strikeout per innings pitched. Only 189 hitting. Why? Because he's throwing the slider early, the fastball early for strikes. He'll mix in the changeup as well. But when Jhoulys Chacín is on with his game, the breaking ball is really the key. He either gets a swing and a miss, or he'll get a weak ground ball, keep it on the infield. That's why you see the success.
Been a tough year for the Cincinnati Reds, and the toughest part of their year has been their pitching staff.
Starting rotation are a bunch of babies, and I don't say that in a mean way, but they're young. They're learning at the big league level. They're just getting rocked around the ballpark, and in this ballpark where the ball flies, it really spells havoc. 4.25. Look at the walks. Home runs allowed. Ranked last in Major League Baseball in all 3 categories. These are young pitchers trying to figure it out at the big league level, and we know how difficult that can be. There's one guy, though, who's a bright spot. Luis Castillo. We're going to see him in this series. I think this youngster's really got a good chance of being a good big league pitcher, but the rest of the troops, they need to pick it up. It's been a big-time struggle here in Cincinnati.
Padres will try to take advantage of this pitching staff for the Cincinnati Reds. It is a tough place to pitch, though. The ball flies here. The ballpark can be tough, and there's a lot of home runs. Bob Scanlon will catch up with Austin Hedges. Padres catch, and we return to see how the Padres are going to approach it from the Queen City after this. Baseball brought to you by Petco, where the pets go. By by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup. Shop at choosenissan.com. And by Car Shield. Don't strike out from a big auto repair bill. When you have Car Shield, they'll get you the repair bill paid for you. Welcome you back to Cincinnati as we get ready for game one of the series. Before we get it started, let's send it down to field level and Bob Scanlon.
Well, thank you, Don. Everybody knows that Great American Ballpark is a hitter-friendly place, no question about it. And if you ask any pitcher, almost invariably they'll tell you, you know what, makes no difference to me. I'm not going to change anything. I don't think about it at all. But the truth of the matter is, oftentimes it's in the back of their head. They can start changing how they pitch on the mound, and at that point, it's up to your catcher to get you back on track. Here's Austin Hedges' thought on being that force to get you locked back in.
I mean, obviously, there's the higher likelihood of giving up a cheap homer. If that happens and the pitcher might be a little rattled, I think then it's my job to go calm him down and remind him that he's good, and he just has to keep focused on executing pitches. I think at times just not trusting their stuff. I think I saw it a lot last year in the PCL. It's a very hitter-friendly league, and I think a lot of pitchers get frustrated pitching there. You know, obviously this is a good place to hit, so we just got to make sure our pitchers and me are on the same program.
Austin Hedges obviously is not afraid to be that voice of reason. He has some experience with it, and one of the young pitchers that he may get a chance to work with tonight is Carter Capps, a new addition to the roster. As you remember, Capps came over in the Andrew Cashner trade. Buddy Bauman getting optioned out. Now Carter pitched in 24 ball games down in AAA El Paso, 2.81 earned run average, and was averaging over a strikeout per inning, so the Padres certainly happy to have him back. But right now it's time to rake the Reds. Padres will try to do some damage against Tim Adelman. Jhoulys Chacin going for the Padres. Padres, Reds, first pitch coming up next, right here on Fox Sports San Diego.
On the red legs. It's nice to see early in a ball game.
First major league home run for Franchi Cordero.
And it was just a solid night for Luis Perdomo.
That ball is gone. Yahervis Solarte going to go to first for the out. Nicely done. In there for strike three, and the Padres win. Now the Padres and the Reds in game one of the series, as the Padres will play night baseball first three games and then a day game here on Thursday. It's time now to join forces with Saquon Pick the Stick. Weigh in on Twitter for a chance to win a free foursome of golf courtesy of Saquon Resort. As you just hashtag I'm with the last name of the broadcaster you want to join forces with. If they win, you could win too. One random winner selected nightly. Follow us at Fox Sports SD for more details. Time now for the weather report, brought to you by your always sunny San Diego Honda dealers. 76 degrees here in Cincinnati. Northeast breeze at 3 miles per hour, and the forecast for cloudy, but right now lots of blue skies above here at Great American Ballpark. Don Orsillo, Mark Grant, and Bob Scanlon with you. He's ready to work here on the mound for the Reds is Tim Adelman, right-hander, ready to work to Manuel Margot with the first pitch of the ball game, and it's going to miss high for ball one. We are underway. Manuel Margot coming in, hitting a .274 in the year. 9 homers and 27 runs batted in. First appearance, 20th start for Adelman.
You know what? When you look at Tim Adelman, there's really not one thing that really sticks out about the tall right-hander. It's been a rough go-around for these pitchers here in Cincinnati. We documented that in our game open. The high ERA, the home runs allowed. He's getting an opportunity, though. And this kid pitched in independent ball, trying to make his way to the big leagues after being in organized baseball, professional baseball. So let's take a closer look to the right-hander. Tim Adelman, 2 and 4 seamer, changeup, curveball, and slightly, little bit of a cutter. And he's been really struggling lately. A lot of hits as opposed to innings pitched. A lot of working out of the stretch, Donnie.
Coming in 5 and 9 on the year with an ERA up over 5 at 5.42. Should be the numbers off the top for Manuel Margot. He's been hot. And a fly ball sent down the left field line, headed towards foul ground, and that ball will be a foul ball. The distance down there, down the left field line, but just kept bending away from the pole.
We might see a lot of that this series. 4 games here at the, what pitchers call this place, the not so great American Ballpark, because the ball will jump. What's the over/under for home runs in this 4-game series? Combined, both teams. What do you think?
That's tough.
8? You want to go with 8?
I'm going to go over.
Okay.
Center field, Billy Hamilton out there waiting on it. He'll take care of out number 1 of the ball game. Margot retired. Let's check out the Padres lineup, brought to you by Toyota for Andy Green. Just saw him Manuel Margot in center field with Carlos Eswaje at second base. Jose Perez in left with Yangervis Solarte at third base. Will Myers at first base with Hunter Renfroe in right. Austin Hedges does the catching with Dusty Coleman at shortstop. And Jolice Chassin batting out of the 9 spot. So 1 down here in the top of the first inning, and it brings up Carlos Eswaje.
Hey, Don, you want to know how rough it's been for Adelman? Last 6 starts.
Sure.
0-5, ERA of 7.34, 30 2/3 innings, 25 earned runs in that stretch.
This is line to right, down the right field line. It'll be a foul ball just to the right of the line. So I would say, based on all the numbers that you have reeled off, that this first inning is huge for him to get off to a good start.
So important to get traffic early, and we know, you know, I'm not going to say this is Colorado, but the ball does jump. We know that. That's a given. No lead is safe in this ballpark. And
what is it? The dimensions? The what makes it this way?
I can only go back to Three River Stadium. I'm Three River. That's Pittsburgh. Riverfront Stadium. I stand corrected. Ball jumped there too, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what the elevation is here, whether it's the air, whether it's the river, whether it's Kentucky. I don't know.
Now, Kentucky's over there, right across the river.
Across the river, yeah. Right field.
Eswaje at 295 coming in, 2 homers and 12 runs batted in. Skip in. Evens a count at 2-2 to Eswaje, with Perella waiting on deck. Padres batting here in the first inning. Part of a 3-city tour for the Padres. Started in Pittsburgh, now here in Cincinnati before going to Los Angeles. Back home again. This one fouled off over by the Reds dugout.
That looked like one of those cut fastballs that Adelman throws. Tried to bury it inside to Eswaje. They're playing him to pull. They're on the pull side in the outfield and center field, Billy Hamilton. And we notice how shallow he plays, right? Because he's got great speed. He can go back on some balls, hit over his head.
Good at bat here for Suaje. Goes full here, 3-2. It's interesting though to see Billy Hamilton playing that shallow, but as you mentioned, he can go back. It is 404 to center field here in Cincinnati. Swing and a miss, and Adelman comes back to get his Suaje. Let's check out the Reds defensively behind Adelman. Left to right of the outfield, Adam Duvall, Billy Hamilton, and Jesse Winker. Third to first, Eugenio Suarez, Zach Cozart, Scooter Gennett back with the Reds, Joey Votto at first, and Tucker Barnhart doing the catching for Tim Adelman. 2 down here in the first.
Who's playing third for the Reds?
Eugenio Suarez. Eugenio Suarez.
Let's call him Eugene.
I think the second one was right.
Yeah,
I think.
You had it right the first time.
I did?
Yeah. It was, choppy, but you're good.
Very choppy.
And that guy there, not a lot to root this year for the Cincinnati Reds, for the hometown Red Leg fans, but Joey Votto, always worth the price of admission.
That's a quick second strike there to Barella. It was fun to watch. Saw him at Petco Park, of course, in that series. Another consistent year for him, while this team has not been. Votto has. 49th game for Jose Perella back in left field. And a swing and a miss on the breaking ball. He strikes out. So Adelman a clean first inning. Reds are coming up from Cincinnati. In the top of the first inning, Cincinnati coming up in the bottom of the first. As we check out the Reds lineup, brought to you by Hyundai. That'll be Billy Hamilton leading it off here for the Reds, and in center field with Zach Cozart, the shortstop. Joey Votto at first base. Adam Duvall in left field. Scooter Gennett at second base. Here we go again. You ready? Eugenio Suarez is at third base. Jesse Winker is in right. Tucker Barnhart does the catching, and Tim Adelman, the pitcher, out of the 9th spot. Less choppy? Still choppy.
Fewer choppy.
Fewer choppy. Jolice Chassin on the hill.
Hey, continue the Jomentum. Get it? Jolice, momentum, combine Jomentum.
Sort of.
Great movement down in the zone with his sinker and his slider. We talked about that, the breaking ball. And the numbers have been better on the road lately. The last 3 starts on the road, pitching quite well for the veteran 29-year-old right-hander.
Padres defensively in on the corners here. Solarte and Myers. Always possibility that Hamilton will drop down a bunt because he can fly. The game's fastest players. The old adage is you can't steal first base. Only a .252 hitter. 3 homers, 30 runs batted in. 104th game that he has been in. Line, and that's a fair ball down the right field line to the right field corner. Hamilton is headed for second, maybe beyond. He is thinking 3. Renfroe's throw is cut off, and the throw to third is late, and it gets away, but Chassin backs it up, fortunately for the Padres. That's a triple for Billy Hamilton to start the bottom of the first inning for the Reds.
His 9th triple of the year. The Cincinnati Reds as a team lead in that category in triples. Why? Because of leadoff hitter number 6, Billy Hamilton. And as soon as this one's off the bat, a lot of people are saying that's a triple. Right out of the gate, he was thinking 3. He's fun to watch.
The Reds have their leadoff hitter at third base to begin things here in the bottom of the first inning.
You know what you said, how you can't steal first base? That's an old baseball adage. The other one is speed. It's something you can bring to the ballpark each and every night. Speed never slumps.
I thought that was hustle. Not everybody has speed.
Okay. Well, if you have speed, you can always use it.
You could use it
every night.
Zach Cozart.
Yeah, hustle,
the same
hustle
thing,
though too. You're
right.
right. You don't have to have blazing speed. You can always give hustle. Right? You can always hustle.
Cozart batting now, hitting at .314. The all-star shortstop for the Reds.
Now, as a pitcher, here's a situation to where if you get a strikeout, that's great. But get an out. Infield is back. It's almost as if you're conceding a run. Okay, nobody out, triple, guys on third. Okay, I want to get this guy, whether it's a ground ball, whether it's a fly ball, get an out. Don't worry about giving up that run. It's a long game. And if you get the strikeout, hey, that's just that's a bonus. You're a third of the way home.
All 4, and he loses Cozart. So first and third now with nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning. Check out the Padres defensively, brought to you by Lincoln. Left around the outfield, Jose Perella, Manuel Margot, and Hunter Renfroe. Harris Solarte, Dusty Coleman at short, Carlos Suaje at second base, Will Myers at first, and Austin Hedges doing the catching for Jolie Chassin. First and third, nobody out here for the Reds. Joey Votto coming up, batting in the 3 spot. Toting a .311 average. Saying that he is a patient hitter would be an understatement, but he lines this one promptly on the first pitch to right field for a base hit. Billy Hamilton will score. Cozart to third. It's an RBI single for Votto, and it's a 1-0 Cincinnati lead. All the walks for Votto, and he came up there swinging the bat.
You know, there comes a time if a hitter is known for taking pitches, working the at-bat, there are times when hitters go up there and they'll ambush you. You try to get ahead as a pitcher thinking, okay, he's going to work the count. I want to get ahead. That looked like an off-speed pitch. And Votto stays on it. It's elevated a little bit, crushes that ball to right field for the RBI single.
First and third. Reds on top 1-0. Still nobody out. Adam Duvall coming up. 24 home runs in 107 games for Duvall. 75 runs batted in. Starting off ahead is Chassin.
That's key with the breaking ball. Very key.
Gotta find his bearings here in the first inning.
Yeah. Working down. The pitch to Votto was up. Once again, you'll sacrifice. You'll give up a double play here for a run. Try to work that ground ball.
Triple by Hamilton started the inning. The walk by Cozart. RBI single by Joey Votto, and the Reds have jumped on top 1-0 after their starting pitcher tonight. Tim Adelman retired the Padres in order in the top of the first inning on a flyout and back-to-back strikeouts. Swing and a miss for Duvall. Goes lunging that pitch down and away.
That's that slider we're talking about from Chassin. Out of the hand, it looks like a strike, but then good depth, good break to it. Out of the zone for the swing and a miss.
Long look at third for Chassin. And the liner foul right up over the head of Kozart at third base. Let's take a look at the keys to the game, brought to you by your San Diego Honda dealers.
Harass the Hoya. Tim Adelman, Georgetown, Hoyas. And limit the long ball. We know that this ballpark is a launching pad. Both teams capable of hitting some home runs. So keep the ball in the yard, especially for Jhoulys Chassin.
Bounces in and gets away. Nobody's going to advance though. Hedges able to get it quickly. Like Kozart from third was going to try it. He stopped. Then Votto a few steps off the bag. He didn't go either.
Yeah, I thought Kozart was going to give it a chance. He was about a third of the way down. This ball up the left side of Austin. Watch Kozart on the left. Shuffle, shuffle. He's thinking about it. Nope. Hey, there's nobody out. You've got runners at the corners. You got the heart of the order up. Now let's try to drive that run in. Not take the chance of getting thrown out at the plate for out number one.
Kozart at third. Votto across the diamond at first. A run in. Still nobody out here in the first inning. That is strike three. Chassin needed that first strikeout of the night for the Padres right-hander.
Don, you're talking about getting those bearings straight. How about the release point straight on this last pitch? He may have gotten a call, but that's a hang with him. 94 with a little bit of 2-seam movement. Great movement on the outer half. Getting the call is huge for Jhoulys. Now the double play is in order. One pitch, get out of this little jam.
First and third, one out, and here is Scooter Gennett. 292 average, 18 homers, and 60 runs batted in. Former Milwaukee Brewer. As a toss over by Chassin has Votto back to the bag. Little drop in there for a strike. Gennett coming to the Reds, claimed off waivers from the Brewers in March into spring training. It's the day, in fact, the Reds left their spring training complex in Goodyear, Little Ohio, where the Cleveland Indians and the Cincinnati Reds share their spring training site.
That's a good one. I like that. Little Ohio.
Have you been there?
I went back to Ohio, but my city was gone. There was no train station. There was no downtown.
Scooter Gennett was born in Cincinnati.
Come on.
So the fact that he's now a Red is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Lived in nearby Lebanon until he was 9 years old. And then the family moved to Sarasota. Still born here. And now a Red. Big cut there has him down 1-2.
Think about it. Growing up as a baseball fan, Cincinnati, Sarasota, you got your spring training down there. It's all year round baseball. Right in your own backyard.
It's the Ed Smith Stadium in Sarasota.
Who's there now?
The Orioles are there now.
Because I know the White Sox were there for many, many years.
Big pitch here for Chassin. And it's grounded back to Chassin. He'll go to second base for one, to first. Going to be close, and it is in time. Double play. A strikeout to double play for Chassin. Gets out of the inning with minimal damage. Just the one run allowed. Nicely done. Right back at him, and initiating that double play is Jhoulys Chassin. Reds have a 1-0 lead. Second inning, and it's time now for the Arco top tier player profile. A 7-game hitting streak for Yangervis Solarte coming in. 11 hits during that 7-gamer. 423 average. Home run, 4 RBIs and 6 runs scored for Solarte, who is back at a more familiar third base tonight after some starts at shortstop for the Padres.
You know, I like pressure type hitting, and Yangervis has been that kind of guy who's been hitting well with runners in scoring position. 352. So hopefully he has a lot of opportunities like that tonight. And you know what, Don, thinking about last half inning, considering all told,
that's huge.
1 run,
yeah,
that is very huge for the Padres.
And the sign of a veteran right there, calming down after what could have really rattled him. This is the other way to left, and Duvall moves over to make the catch on a liner that was slicing for out number 1. Good contact for Solarte, but in the neighborhood of Adam Duvall out there in left. And that'll bring up Will Myers.
You know, I would think in a ballpark like this, some hitters get a little froggy to where they want to uppercut a little bit, kind of launch, right?
Change the launch angle.
Just a little bit, maybe. I'm sure every hitter's not going to come in here and not think that. Just put a good, like Mark McGwire said the other day. He said, you know, my objective was to beat the ball, not to have the ball beat me, and just make good solid contact. And there's Major League McGwire. Just make good contact, and you know what? If you hit it right, it'll go. It's going to be a good line drive, hard grounder, or a ball that's out of the park.
Myers will ground this to third base. Suarez, good throw that is just in time. Good hard, accurate throw to first base, and Joey Votto stretching on this side to retire Myers 2 down.
And good hustle by Will Myers. This, look at, see the crow hop and taking a little bit of time, and it gets it by a full stride. Those are some big strides from Will Myers. Let's watch the big caballo out of the box. Big strides, pumping up. That's what you want each and every time.
2 down here in the second inning. Hunter Renfroe takes strike 1. Bowman has retired the first 5 Padres he has faced in this game. 2 by way of the K. Big swing there from Renfroe.
Adelman's got a little pause in that delivery. You notice that?
A little hitch.
Yes. Now whether he toe taps. I'm watching his top half. I'm going to focus on the bottom half. He's got a little hitch in the leg. Timing mechanism. Hitters have them. Pitchers have them.
Swing and a miss, and Renfroe strikes out to end the inning. A good start for Adelman. He has struck out 3, 1-0 Reds.
the concussions that have been going on with, it seems like everyone happens with a hockey mask. I've always worn the hockey mask. It's definitely more comfortable, more stable, but it looks like a lot of the concussions are coming from that mask, so I decided to switch it up. I saw a lot of film of other catchers wearing the two-piece mask that the balls were glancing off, and they seem to be fine, so just trying to mix it up a little bit.
Austin Hedges talking about a change in masks. He's normally using the goalie-style mask. Tonight, you'll see he's using the more classic style. Now, he is experimenting with a couple of different cages. One of them apparently actually has some spring technology in it to try to deflect the ball and absorb some of the shock, guys. But clearly, it's something that guys are worried about. No scientific data to support not using the goalie-style mask. He's just saying, I've seen a lot of concussions with those guys wearing them. He's going to try something different, guys.
He's right about that. David Ross, I remember on 2 occasions, ended up with a hockey mask with concussions and went to this mask afterwards, changed up. Alex Avila doing the same thing. The Detroit Tigers now at the Chicago Cubs, and going old school.
You know, I'm not an engineer, but when you look at there's the hockey style mask. You see there, it's more in front. There's more. How would you say it, Don? In front, it's not as flat. There's more rounded in front, right?
No,
so for deflection, right?
Well, you'd think you wouldn't be hit flush as a result. It'd be more of a glancing thing, and I think that's the idea. But the ones that hit him were flush.
Yes.
Which is hardly, I mean, that's the
bad timing.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, do I need more protection, perhaps?
Okay, here, after this pitch, I'll tell you when I said I wasn't an engineer, and that might come to a shock to some people.
You're not?
No.
Coming in from center is Margot. That is out number 1.
Now, when you look at the masks, the composites, Bob mentioned the cage, right? I want to focus on the cage. That one's off the side. I mean, this one's that's like the temple area, right? Now, it's not so much, to me, it's not so much the cage itself and the shell. I want to know, can't somebody come up with something with the innards, like that gel or something that's more shut? You know what I'm saying? See the padding around the chin and the forehead area for Austin?
Yep.
Now, I'm not sure what the composite or the material is within that.
But it helps brace the blow, I think.
Right, and what I'm saying is I would like to know, maybe it is the best, maybe it's just regular padding, whatever, but come up with some type of shock type gel resistant composite, something or other that would help.
Less
in the
of a jarring
you
hit.
can see the springs in the upper left right there. I've never seen that before. That's pretty cool. Right there. Well, if Austin would move up a little bit. Yeah, right there. I've never seen that. Have you ever seen that?
No. Winker will foul this one back. Right fielder batting with 1 down here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Reds got a run in the 1st. They were threatening though. They got the run and had runners at 1st and 3rd with nobody out. Strikeout and then a double play grounded to do by Jeanette.
Here's the best analogy I can come up with, and bear with me here. Remember playing with silly putty as a kid?
Sure.
Remember you roll it up into a ball? You could bounce that on the ground as hard as you want, and it's round. But yet, if you slightly put it on a table and press it, it gives, right?
Right.
So the harder the resistance against the silly putty, it absorbed that shock. I would say you got to come up with some type of composite to where it has that type of principle.
So you want to put silly putty?
Yeah, let's put silly putty in there.
And then you could also get the funny papers and put them on there, and you could take the print
comics.
off. Yes.
It's backwards when you look at it. But do you see what I'm saying, though?
Yes.
Yeah.
Strike 3 call. Chassin with his 2nd strikeout of the night has out number 2 of the 2nd inning.
Well, we mentioned the slider. We mentioned the off-speed stuff. This one right here, the backdoor slider. Great frame by Austin Hedges. And I think I saw Austin Hedges give a little wink to Chassin on that last pitch there. Well placed to Winker.
2 down here in the 2nd brings up Tucker Barnhart, the catcher. Fly ball, center field. Margot started back. Now he's going to come in and has time to recover and makes the catch and ends the inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Chassin. 1-0 Reds. Brought to you by Ram Trucks.
Let's go to Yankee Stadium. Todd Frazier's the plate. It'll be a 2-1 to Frazier. A line drive to short. It's caught. No, it's not. Oh, he goes to second for some reason. Over to first. One out, 2 outs. What's going on here at the stadium? He's caught in a pickle now. He's out of the baseline. And that's a triple play, Susan.
I am not going to be a part of that, but that was a triple play.
You don't see it too often.
No. It was the first game for Frazier, too.
First and second, nobody out is the perfect recipe for a triple play. That's why, you know, I've seen it before where teams will put on a hit and run, first and second. You're flirting with disaster because a line drive, the runners are going. It's a triple play.
Saw 2 in one night. Gary Gaetti at third base for the Minnesota Twins with runners at first and second. Sharply hit ground balls close to the bag at third. He turned 2 in one night.
That particular instance at Yankee Stadium was bases loaded. A run did score. They got caught in that pickle, right? Allowing to run the score. So they at least did get one run out of it.
Austin Hedges leading it off here in the third inning. Softly grounded down the first baseline. Adelman says he's got it, and he'll apply the tag for the first out here in the third inning. Adelman has retired the first 7 Padres he's faced in the game.
Staying off the sweet spot of the bat there of Austin Hedges with a good breaking ball. Adelman did.
Here comes Dusty Coleman with one away here in the third inning. 308, 3 homers, and 7 runs batted in. A big day on Saturday. His 3rd career home run. Career high 3 hits against the Pirates on Saturday. Called up on July the 24th from AAA El Paso. 14 home runs for the Chihuahuas this year, 46 RBIs. So far since the call up, hitting at 308. Pitch coming up for Tim Adelman. We have one down here in the third inning. Field on the shallow side and straight away. Coleman will try the bunt, but Adelman spryly off the mound. Throws to first to retire Coleman. 2 down. Get your game break coming up. The Nationals are back home to take on the Miami Marlins. Nationals just taking 2 out of 3 from the Chicago Cubs in impressive fashion.
You had a chance to visit with Dusty Baker, the manager of the Nationals.
Former Reds manager. What a tremendous guy Dusty is.
He sure is, isn't he?
Had a chance. Yesterday was the first time I ever met him.
Really?
I never crossed paths with him before. And had the chance to meet him yesterday. Tremendous guy.
It really is.
They are a very good team, the Washington Nationals. Their bullpen now is really good.
I was just going to ask, how did the bullpen look?
They had it lined up as they beat the Cubs yesterday, came from behind, but you got Madsen, Doolittle, Kinsler, 7, 8, 9 now. And the bullpen, as we saw, not very good early in the year. Now they are. So they're primed and ready for a postseason run.
Hey, Joel, he's going to go yard at this place.
On the ground to short. Cozart slides to his right and throws to first in plenty of time to get Chacin. Adelman's retired the first 9, 1-0 Reds. Play along here to the bottom of the third inning.
Hey, talking about Max Scherzer, the average starter in the big leagues, starter ERA is 4.49. Max Scherzer is 2.21.
Of course, had the neck problem. Had it actually before the home run, and the home run did not help things. It exasperated the situation, came out of that game. It takes a lot. Fortunately, back now for the Nationals. Tim Adelman, the pitcher, leading it off here in the home half of the third inning for the Reds. 2 for 27 at the plate as a hitter this year. We're only 125 hitter in his second big league campaign. Well, Chacin, after giving up a triple, a walk, and an RBI single, has retired everybody else that he has faced since. 2 strikeouts. Good breaking ball, drop it in there to make it 1-2.
You know, I love stories about players like Adelman. He pitched an independent ball in 2012 and 13. Prior to the 16th season, he worked in a deli in the D.C. area before spring training.
Fly ball to center. Margot is shallow, and it's right to him for the first out.
Well, we talk about location being key for any pitcher, but the success, the recent success, has been, I think, because of the slider of Chacin. This is against the Giants, and look at the numbers. Prove it. 142 average. Opponents batting against that slider. Front side opens up. It's just off the plate a little bit. Look at 2 strikes there, right on the outside corner. I tell you what, he is placing those pitches very, very nicely recently, and that's why you see the recent success from the right-hander.
1 down here in the third inning. Billy Hamilton, the batter, tripled his first time up as he takes strike 1.
We always talk about strengths and weaknesses. Well, we just documented the slider, 142 opponent's batting average. How about ineffective fastball, 282, and then the rest of the arsenal for Chacin. Sometimes I think he tries to overthrow the fastball a little bit. Kind of yanked that one there.
Loses control in the process.
Oh, absolutely. He tried to hump it up just a little bit more, maybe create a little bit more arm speed, maybe with the upper half getting to, you know, getting out in front, and it just throws everything out of whack. You know, as a pitcher, I can only speak for myself, but and Bob might want to chime in on this, but you know, when you feel you don't have your best stuff, it's all part of the learning process. You know, you think, oh, if I try harder as far as with my arm, you know, I'm going to really try to get up on top and get through and create more arm speed rather than just taking it easy, slowing it down a little bit. Because when you feel you don't have it, you actually kind of, when you feel like you don't have it, in actuality, you do kind of still have the same type of arm speed. You just might not feel it that night. I remember one game in particular, was at Anaheim Stadium with the Mariners, and Dave Valley was catching me. It was like the third inning. I came in between innings, and I said, gosh, Val, I just don't have anything today. And he goes, dude, you're throwing the ball great. Now, he might have been lying.
But right? In your head, it was...
But yeah, but he goes, just, you know, throw to the glove. Don't overthrow, and we'll take it from there.
So you slow it down?
Yeah, you slow it down, and it's something Mark Davis and I always talked about. The former Padre left-hander won the Cy Young Award in 1989. We used to play catch in the outfield, and we used to work on our mechanics, just slowing everything down. When you really slowed it down, in actuality, you were kind of going at the pace you should be going. If you're too quick with your delivery, right?
Hamilton was after that, foul tips it, stays alive here, 2-2. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming up.
Hey, Bob Scanlon, you got any tips as far as when you're not really feeling great or maybe overthrown just a bit?
But I had that exact same experience that you had. I'm sure all pitchers do at some point. And I remember one time my pitching coach coming out to the mound to talk to me in the midst of a rough outing.
Down the right field line again and just foul.
And after the game, he said, you know, Bob, I came out there to talk to you, and your eyes were like pinballs. Just so big, and you were so wound up, and you were trying to throw the ball so darn hard. And it was the first time that I realized how much I was trying to overthrow the ball. And at that point, I just realized, look, in the key clutch situations, you have to try to stay relaxed as much as you possibly can. And the only way I could do it, Mud, was to not think about my body, not think about mechanics. The only thing I would think about is trying to hit the mitt. And that was the only way that I could get myself physiologically to calm down. Otherwise, the natural reaction is to try to hump up and do more, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. No question. And you know what? I'll take it a step further. Bob Miller, the late Bob Miller, pitched like 20 years in the big leagues.
Caught at first by Myers, 2 down.
He was the minor league pitching coordinator, so he would travel around and work with the pitchers. And I remember him meeting us in Double-A Shreveport in the Texas League, and I was throwing a bullpen, and I was like, humping it up, right? He goes, hey, dude, come here, step off. Talked for a little bit. He goes, rather than trying a little harder, try a little easier. And it made sense. Tough, though, to trust your, to back up, because what are we taught as kids? Work hard, harder. We got to go hard, right? Try backing off a little bit. Because if you back off a little bit and you don't have success, guess who you're going to be mad at? Yourself.
Mud.
Yes. You're going to be mad at Mud.
Zach Cozart grounds it foul. That'll end up in the dugout.
It's like, I've worked with you for a while, and there are times, I haven't told you this, but there are times I think you're trying a little too hard.
Think so?
Yeah.
Over the top?
With your announcing. And I think you should maybe just try a little easier.
So should I slow down?
Yes.
Oh. Am I talking too fast when this happens?
Sometimes.
This is the deep short. Knocked down by Coleman. Stays with it. And no play at first base. Able to knock it down, but Cozart's got good speed. Beats it out. No throw from Coleman. And that breaks up a string of 8 in a row retired by Chassin.
Pretty good speed right there, huh? 1 and 2 for Cincinnati. So you put the ball in play and you put a little pressure. It's out and it's extended, and Cozart, it looked like an off-speed pitch, maybe a changeup. Catches it out front. Boy, that would have been really interesting if Dusty comes up with that one cleanly. It would have been a sprint to the finish line, baseball and runner at first base.
So 2 down, Cozart at first, and gives Joey Votto a chance here in the last of the 3rd inning. Single and an RBI in the 1st inning for Votto.
Did you just see, remember we had that close-up shot of Votto before? Did you see him surveying the whole field? He was in the batter's box getting ready, and his eyes were just kind of surveying the defense. I don't know if he's going to do it again, but this was the shot before the last time. He's looking at the pitcher. Now he's kind of looking out the outfield a little bit. I don't know whether it's just like maybe a mechanism that he has to relax before he focuses in on Chassin. This is the first pitch. He's kind of looking out there, looking to the right, looking to left center, and then focus it. And some guys have soft focus, some guys had hard focus. Maybe they don't want to be focusing on the pitcher for that long of a time, so they just kind of wander their eyes a little bit.
Choking up pretty good here.
Yeah,
0-2.
Gosh, that's amazing how much he's choked up there, isn't it?
Considerably. I did not notice in the first 2 pitches, but maybe down 0-2 here.
Yeah.
Choking up, 2 strikes on him. RBI for him, his 79th RBI of the year. And the difference in the game. Fly ball, pretty deep, out towards deep left center field. Margot back on the track, and that ball is gone. A 2-run home run for Joey Votto, his 30th of the year, puts the Reds on top 3-0. The infield hit followed up by the home run gives Cincinnati a 3-0 lead. And all the runs driven in by Joey Votto.
Well, we just talked about Joey Votto choking up. He stands right on the plate. He takes this ball on contact, outer third, 1-2 pitch, taking it the opposite way with some authority. Wow, great plate coverage, great bat control, and of course, the power the opposite way by Votto. That's a good at-bat.
2 down, bases empty thanks to that 2-run home run. And here is Adam Duvall. Struck out looking in the first inning. th of the year now. Joey Votto. You're looking for that 3,100 number. Now with 81 RBIs on the season and 3 in this game. Ted Kluszewski has been tied. Joey Votto, his 251st home run. Johnny Bench all-time 389 home runs in Cincinnati Reds history.
Big clue. It's such the big guns that remember that's when they went to the sleeveless vests, right?
Shift on him on the left side of the Padres infield. Suaje, the second baseman, going to the left side of the infield to join Coleman and Solarte. Ball, a strikeout victim in the first when looking. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out this time swinging. He thought he foul tipped it. 3-0 Reds. Baseball brought to you by Honda. Hurry into the Honda Summerbration sales event today. And by Sequan Casino. Play, win together in the heart of San Diego. Joe Morgan statue outside Great American Ballpark here in Cincinnati.
Hall of Fame second baseman. Part of those Big Red Machine championships here in Cincinnati.
Green's team trailing here 3-0 as we move into the 4th inning. Top of the order, Manuel Margot, Carlos Suaje, and Jose Perella expected to bat here in the 4th inning for the Padres. See if they make any adjustments here against Adelman, who started this game retiring the first 9 Padres that he has faced. 3 by way of the K. A 1-2-3 third inning on 3 ground ball outs. Looks pretty good so far tonight.
He does. Avoiding the sweet spot. Some balls put in play off the end of the bat.
Line towards right center field, and that ball's going to get down. A gapper back to the track of the wall. Margot headed for 3 as he rounds second. The throw to third is going to be close, and Margot will be out at third. Well, he took a gamble and got back into the infield pretty quickly. Andy Green may challenge this. It was close at third base.
Well, first and foremost, I think he should have pulled up at second base. Leadoff double. Chances are he's going to score on a base hit. The first out at third base. Hey, probably a matrix type slide or slide more towards home plate side would be a better slide of being safe. But my initial reaction is, you know, take the double. Take the double with nobody out.
So first hit of the game for the Padres. Manuel Margot gets credit for a double, but got down at third base. Carlos Suaje struck out swinging in the first inning. To right field, and a sinking liner that's going to get by Winker. Back to the track of the wall is Suaje. Into second base, has himself a double. Gamble out there by Winker in right field on the sinking liner. Get by him quickly, and Billy Hamilton, the speedster, backed him up.
That is so key. That's a really nice play by Billy Hamilton, because Joey Votto, he's laying out. Check that. Jesse Winker. Jesse Winker laying out. Boy, it'd be a heck of a play if Joey Votto can get out there and do that. Not the case. And Suaje will take the double.
Jose Pirela struck out swinging in the first inning, 0 for 1.
Well, second time around, Donald. The base running, Manuel Margot out at third, but it's a double hit hard. A Suaje hitting the ball hard. Let's see if Pirela and company can do something second time around.
A little different result here so far against Adelman. 40th pitch for the Reds right-hander coming up. Foul tipped, 0-2. First time through, just 239, 257. Second time through, third time around, not so good. Jumps up over 300. We're at second with one down here in the Padres' fourth inning. And on the thumbs and foul back.
And as I mentioned, going back to Adelman, talking to some of the Cincinnati people, they said there's not one thing that really sticks out to Adelman like it's wow. You know, some pitchers have that nasty split finger. Some people have that nasty biting slider. Some pitchers have the 98, 99 mile an hour fastball. That is not Tim Adelman. Not one thing is really a specialty or makes him stick out. So he's got to be right on his game.
In the air to left field, hit pretty well. That's deep, far, and gone. A home run. Jose Pirela with his 6th home run of the year, and the Padres right back in it. Now 3-2 Reds. That was a shot by Pirela. Get out of here in a hurry. Some hard hit balls here. Second time through against Adelman.
Talk about a mistake. 0-2, curveball, 75. Oh, he hanging, he banging. That was off the facade. That was off the ribbon, the scoreboard of the upper deck.
So a one-run game now. There it is. Off the ricochet of the facade there.
Yeah.
There's Solarte lined out to left field first time up. Now this is into center field. A base hit for Solarte. 4 straight hits here for San Diego. Varela hits his name.
Very nice. 418 feet. That ball got out of here off bat 110 miles an hour. Guess what the launch angle was?
I'm going to go 35.
Oh, come on. That's too high. Seriously, it's too high.
It's gone.
All right. 19 degrees on the launch angle. That's a line. That's
Myers grounded out to third base first time up, getting his second look. Guess I overshot a little bit.
yeah. The higher, I would think, the higher the launch angle, the harder you have to hit the ball for it to go out, correct?
I don't know.
Well, think about it. The more you get underneath the baseball, the harder you have to hit it for it to go farther. It's just physics, Don. Come on. Think about it. You hit the ball hard on the line, it's going to travel farther than if you hit it higher in the air, higher launch angle. Is it really that difficult? I mean, you went to college, I didn't. I get it. You don't?
I have trouble getting my arms around it. Check on Solarte, back to the bag. Just a couple steps to get back.
How about this analogy? Golf club, 2 iron, same swing, 8 iron, same swing. Which one's going to go farther?
The 2 iron.
Correct. Why? Because of the angle of the club. It's going to have a lower launch angle, right? So therefore, to hit the 8 iron as far, which is probably impossible, you're going to have to swing harder because of the angle of the club for it to go farther.
.30 pitch coming up to Myers.
Oh, nice segue.
Had the green light there at 3-0.
Yeah,
he fouled it off.
He got a fastball too. And once again, this ballpark, up, away, take it that way. It's going to get out of here easily. Oh, look at Will's reaction. How did I miss that? Oh my gosh. He is talking to himself right now. He's had 2 pitches to do some serious damage. Look at this pitch. Oh,
Was 3-0, now full count. Pitch 50 coming up for Adelman of his outing. Runner goes. Myers takes strike 3, throw down, and Solarte has himself stolen base. Myers goes looking for the K for Adelman, his first out, but Solarte, potential tying run, now in scoring position.
Adelman goes with the 3-2 breaking ball. Solarte's off with the kick. Here's the pitch taken for a strike. Now it's a matter of avoiding that tag. Solarte has the advantage of a bad throw on the hop to second base. There's the flash look. And he slides in safely.
There's Hunter Renfroe. He'll take a breaking ball up and in. Renfroe struck out swinging in the second inning, 0 for 1. August so far, hitting at .353. Fielder who spent time on the DL in July, the neck injury. Fouls this one off the catcher, Tucker Barnhart.
He goes with the traditional mask right off the grill. Looks like no shock absorbers on that one, like the one Austin Hedges is wearing. It's more the traditional cage.
trouble here getting the signs right.
Yeah, so let's have a chat, they're saying. You know, this seems more like a discussion, hey, what do we want to throw here, rather than going over signs. Because if they were just going over signs, hey, first sign after 2, whatever, bang, we got it. I think this is more of a strategical talk about how they want to.
Difference in philosophy, maybe?
Exactly.
Jenkins, the pitching coach, out there. On the same page now with a count of 1-1 to Hunter Renfroe. Swing and a miss on a pitch headed away at 92.
The ball had a little cut on it.
Did.
Right? 92.
Yep. Good movement.
Yeah. Perfectly placed. And the beauty of the cutter is that you don't have to really throw it that hard. It's the movement that gets you.
Oh, this one gets the home plate umpire. Like Everett this time.
Right forearm, it looks like. Oh, off the bicep.
Couple foul tips in this sequence. Tucker Barnhart, the catcher, like Everett, the home plate umpire, both have been tagged in this inning. 1-2 pitch coming up to Renfroe. It's up at 2-2. Four strikeouts for Adelman in his outing. 3 2/3. Here's Solarte, potential tying run in scoring position. But it's ball 3, full count.
Well, he's gone cutter away, change up, tried to go inside there. I think first base somebody might throw him a breaking ball here.
In the dirt, and that's ball 4. He did. Renfroe walks here aboard with runners at first and second and 2 down.
MLB.com at bat is your #1 mobile app for live Padres baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Padres home screen icons, app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today.
2 down, runners at first and second for San Diego, and Austin Hedges 0 for 1, grounded out to the pitcher, first time up. Curveball in there for strike 1. Trying to settle down here. Allowed 4 straight hits in this inning, including the 2-run home run by Jose Perella.
See Barnhart tried to bring that one back in.
Yep. Took it off the outside, back to the outside edge.
Yep.
'60th pitch of the night for Adelman. He yanks that in the dirt. So 60 pitches through 3 2/3 innings. Not out of this inning yet.
Well, hitters count. Chance for a big hit right here, do some damage.
3-1.
And he is trying to keep the ball away. He's giving Austin Hedges right field.
Fly ball down the right field line. Winker headed towards the line. Still going and into foul ground to make the catch. It ends the inning. But a two-run shot for Jose Perella gets the Padres closer. At the end of 3.5, it's 3-2 Cincinnati.
Thoughts and prayers go out to his family, and sad day. He lost a great man. I lost a great teammate back in the day. Played with him in '86 when we went to the World Series. He was a glue. He was a glue to our clubhouse, and I respect him. He brought credibility to our team, and it's going to be missed. And
Glenn Hoffman reflecting on the passing of his former teammate Don Baylor, who passed away today after a 14-year battle with rare blood cancer, multiple myeloma. Known for his 19 years in the big leagues, for bringing power to the plate as well as his toughness. You guys all know that he led the league 7 times in being hit by pitches, managed for 9 seasons in the big leagues as well, also was a hitting coach for multiple teams. The baseball world certainly mourning the loss of Don Baylor, guys.
And a very sad loss of Don Baylor. I know a guy you played for.
I did. I was fortunate to play for Don Baylor first year in Colorado with the Rockies in 1993, and there you see the numbers for Don Baylor and what he did. And you know, baseball aside, what just a great, gentle man, a great guy, affectionately known as Groove. He was baseball through and through, and a big loss for everybody involved with the game of baseball.
What kind of manager was he? Was he a player's manager?
Yes, because I think he was a player's player. And Glenn Hoffman said he's a teammate. I think he carried that over in the managerial role. Even though he looked intimidating, he wasn't that intimidating. He just expected you to go out there and bust your tail and give you 90 feet. Like you said, hustle earlier, right? You didn't have to be the quickest guy on the team. He just expected you to go out there and, you know, he rooted for you. Obviously wanted you to succeed. And I tell you what, talk about a guy, like when you gave him a hug, I mean, it's like hugging a barrel.
It's a big man.
Oh, he's a big man.
Got hit by all those pitches, never seemed to phase him.
Big loss.
Suarez batting with 1 down. Flied out to center field in the second inning, 0 for 1.
You know, he was that type of guy where he wasn't like rah, 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 but he was very low key. But when he said something, it spoke volumes.
Great deal of respect
Yes.
by his teammates.
Yes.
Padres getting 2 back in the top half of this, the 4th inning. The 2-run shot by Jose Perella. Chacin and the Padres trailing by a run for Perella, his 6th home run of the year. Full count now.
You know, I've seen a lot of mistakes tonight, Don, from both sides. Pitchers, one of the more for Adelman.
Getting away with it.
They have been getting away with pitches over the heart of the plate. That was a breaking ball there to Suarez that he would like to have back.
And that's ball 4. A 1-out walk for Suarez. Second walk allowed by Chacin in his outing. Bring up Jesse Winker. Winker struck out looking in the second inning. 3 strikeouts so far in the night by Chacin. Chacin winning his last 3 starts at San Francisco, at home against the Mets and the Twins. And that record up to 11-7 on the year for Chacin, his 23rd start of the year. Runner goes, grounded to first. Myers still going to second. They get the out there, and nobody covers first base for an attempted double play. Chacin became a spectator, didn't get over there.
Got to get over there. Somebody's got to be there at first base. And being a force play, it's the right play, getting the lead runner from Will Myers. Look at he just has to get it to second base. It's a force play. Out. Nobody to throw to for Dusty Coleman. Whether it's Chacin or Suaje, somebody's got to be covering on that play.
So defensive lapse there for the Padres. There's a runner at first now with 2 down. They had an excellent chance for a double play. The hard part was going to be the play at second base.
Yeah.
That was very close. They did get the force out. So 2 down, runner at first, and Barnhart will foul it off to the left out of play. 0 for 1 of the game for the Reds catcher as he flied out to center.
I was going to say, thank goodness Will Myers gets that out at second base, because if he were to not throw to second and then think about going to first by himself, nobody's covering to toss to, and it would have been a race for him taking it himself.
On a strike here to Barnhart. Chacin coming in with an ERA just under 4, 3.99. And a grounder back to him. Nice play, jumping off the third base side of the hill. The toss to first in time to get Barnhart. And to end the 4th inning, we head to the 5th, 3-2 Reds. The Padres as we head to the top half of the 5th inning, and an interesting setup here in the National League Central. A lot of people surprised by what the Milwaukee Brewers have been able to accomplish this year. They just slid out of first place with the Cubs on top right now. The Cardinals are 3.5 back, and the Pirates 4.5 back. And of course, some big contributors this year, NL Central standouts. Wilson Contreras, who hit 2 home runs yesterday for the Cubs, and since the break has 10 home runs. Zach Davies in 4 starts since the break with a 0.94 earned run average, and Lance Lynn 4-0 with 1.21 ERA.
I think this is going to boil down to pitching. The Cubs right now, they're 13th in the National League in average, really not hitting the ball. But as far as pitching is concerned, 4th in ERA. But that's a position player we featured for the Cubs. I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be a photo finish. For some reason, I just feel that the Cubs are going to end up winning that division.
Took them till the All-Star break really to kind of get it together. First half very inconsistent, and the key to the beginning of the second half for the Cubs has been their quality starting pitching. They're going deeper into games now. John Lester has been tremendous in the second half. No decision yesterday against the Nationals. Dusty Coleman last 3 games 4 for 9. Getting it off here for the Padres in the 5th.
Recently, the Cubs bullpen hasn't been doing well. 11 earned runs over 12 innings plus. That's a burr in the saddle.
Carl Edwards Jr. yesterday tagged with a loss. 4 runs allowed. Grand slam by Matt Wieters for the Nationals. To center field, Hamilton on the run. He'll dive and he can't get it. It's by him. Backed up by Duvall. Heading for second is Coleman. He'll get there standing. So a double starts the 5th inning for the Padres. Dusty Coleman delivers.
You know, we're starting to know more and more about Dusty Coleman, but remember, we mentioned that Billy Hamilton plays on the shallow side because he can get the baseballs in front of him with that speed. Well, this one he lays out. It's the short hop backing up is always key when that happens, and trying to get to from Dusty Coleman. He can run a little bit now too.
So it's second base here to begin things in the 5th, representing the tying run. Chassin already squaring, and he may have poked at it. We'll see.
I thought he did too.
They're going to check, and no.
Thank you.
Jordan Baker, first base umpire, said he didn't offer.
He definitely poked at it,
I thought so too.
Watch the head of the bat. Square. Pitch is coming. Oh, yes, he did.
That's a poke.
Yes, it is.
Got away with one there. 1-0 the count. Throw to second base, and Coleman's got to get back, and he does.
How sweet would this be? Square to bunt, pull back, Butcher Boy, dinger for Jolis.
9 for 39 at the plate coming in. 231 average on the year. 2-1. That wasn't pretty.
No. I think he kind of lost his balance over himself.
And on the grass at third is Suarez. So is Votto at first. Anticipating the bunt by Chassin. And he gets it down. The catcher Barnhart will throw him out. Sacrifice complete as Coleman takes third base. 2-4 on the sacrifice.
And high fives all the way around for Chassin as he approaches the Padres dugout. Way to go, Haas. Hey, way to get him over. Hey, way to get it down. Hey, nice going. Hey, good job. We'll get him in for you. Nice going.
Sounds from the dugout. One out, runner at third, infield in, all the way around now for the Reds. As Margot will take ball 1.
Hey, watch for. Remember, Barnhart just threw behind the runner at second base, right, when Coleman was there. Watch for the snap throw down to third base, even with the front door closed and Margot in the right-handed batter's box. Suarez is playing very, very closely to third base. In fact, he is on the line right now.
On the ground towards short as the throw will come home and the tag is applied. Barnhart got him apparently on the way by. Shortstop Cozart coming home on a ball that had tons of spin on it. Was hit sharply. And Coleman thrown out at the plate, so the infield in works there for the Reds.
This throw from shortstop brings Barnhart into the baseline. He's got to go get the baseball, and Coleman tries to do the matrix to try to avoid it. Tell you what, foul side to catch it. Oh, did he get him?
I think he got him on the hip pocket.
Did he?
Yep.
I was wondering if that forearm got him. I mean, no argument from the Padre dugout.
So 2 down, Margot at first base, and Carlos Suaje the batter. What a difference second time through from first time through against Adelman.
You know, that play happened so quickly, and you know, usually a guy on deck is going to be directing traffic a little bit. You know, for the on deck hitter, let's check it out. Gets him. Did he have the ball in his hand or was it in the glove?
I think both the ball and
really?
the hand
Was the ball separated from the glove? I mean, I know I'm getting down to.
Yeah.
But if catcher has ball in hand and in glove, that ball's got to be in contact with the glove. If that ball is out of the glove just a little bit and he hits him with just a glove, that's not an out.
Suaje fouls it back. First time through, Padres were 0 for 9 with 3 Ks against Adelman. Second time through, 5 for 7 with 3 doubles and a home run. So adjustments made second time through. Action in the pen for the first time. Right-hander Wood up now for the Reds.
Pitch out. Saw one of those in Pittsburgh, I think. You don't see those too often.
Not as much, that's for sure. Short lead at first for Margot. 2 down. Check on him. Still has to dive back to the bag. That action out there, Blake Wood, first time he has been up in the game. Pitch 75 coming up for Adelman.
You hang him a breaking ball right here, speed of his bat. He can go yard on you. How's that for analysis?
Really good.
That was exactly what I was talking about. Breaking ball, tried to backdoor it right. It catches a lot of play right into the swing path to speed up the bat of Suaje to where he can put one into the Padre bullpen.
On the ground and into right field, a base hit. Margot heading for third base as Winker's throw is going to be cut off. And it's first and third now with 2 down. Suaje with his second hit of the night. Sharply through that right side of the Reds infield.
After the breaking ball taken for a strike, it looks like Adelman, does he try to throw that piece of cheese by him? Yes, he does, the two-seamer. And Suaje is quick to that baseball. It's like trying to sneak a little piece of cheese by the rat. You can't do it. He's all over it.
Brian Price headed out there to make a change with runners at first and third and 2 down here in the 5th inning. And that'll be the night for Adelman. So a pitching change from Cincinnati with the Reds on top 3-2. All right, thanks very much, Mike and Mark, as this pitching change is brought to you by El Cajon Ford. Blake Wood, first out of the pen for Cincinnati.
Two-seamer slider, four-seamer, and a split, about 96-97. Hasn't allowed a run in any of his last 3 appearances. That's over 4 innings. A couple of hits and 4 strikeouts. Upper 90s for this right-hander. And that's not a good stat right there, Don, huh? Most innings by bullpen.
And into it pretty early tonight. The starter only went to 4 2/3 and 76 pitches deep.
Yeah, we're talking about in our pregame show the home runs also allowed 61.
A short leash tonight for Brian Price. So Adelman coming out. Tying run is 90 feet away here potentially for the Padres. 2 down in the inning. Did not give Adelman the opportunity to get out of it himself. Make himself eligible for a victory. Not eligible right now. Didn't go the minimum necessary.
To hang with him.
Back is Suaje at first base.
And you know, when we talked about stats, remember how third time around, how the average jumps up?
Yep.
And that's exactly what Brian Price is thinking. A new arm, a new look, a guy who throws harder. Padre hitters are going to have to turn up the dial against Wood.
Jose Perella struck out in the first, homered in the fourth, and a hack here jumping after that. Away, 1-2. Could make contact on the slider. 89-mile-an-hour slider. There we go at third is Suaje at first. 2 outs. Reds on top 3-2. And a grounder right side. Jeanette will spin and fire to first for the out. And gets the Reds out of the jam. Blake Wood comes in and gets it done. Padres strand a pair. As we get ready for the bottom of the 5th inning. Time now for the Fan Diego fan of the game.
Padre Friar faithful representing here in the Queen City. Never gets old seeing the old 19 Tony Gwynn jerseys and sporting the brown on the road. Love it.
Now Padres got closer to tying the game last inning. But it's into the bottom of the 5th we go. Reds have a 3-2 lead. Jose Peraza is pinch hitting here in the pitcher's spot. .255 hitter, 4 homers and 27 runs batted in. Into his 106th game of the year.
How about Blake Wood tonight as we look at action? Michael Lorenzen. came to the ballpark, didn't know that his job tonight was to just get one hitter out and call it a night. The life of a reliever. Sometimes you go 2+.
It was a big out too.
It was a huge out.
While Chacin about to throw his 75th pitch of the night. Three strikeouts on the night for Chacin. 2 walks. On the ground to Myers at first base. He'll take it himself to the bag for out number 1 of the 5th inning. Closed captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Wiener Schnitzel. Top of the order, Billy Hamilton coming up here. He tripled and scored in the first inning. Lined out to first base in the 3rd inning. So 1 for 2 on the night against Jhoulys Chacin. Got to worry about the possibility of a bunt. So Solarte in the 3rd, and Will Myers is striding in at first base. And on that infield grass.
I've always said if I was pitching against a guy like Billy Hamilton, I'm pounding him up in the zone, up and in. Have him hit the ball in the air. You know, I mean, he's not a home run threat. Of course, he's hit home runs in his career, but still. Got 3 home runs on the year. He wants to hit the ball on the line and on the ground, right? No bad hops in the air.
Slaps it foul. 2-2. Since the All-Star break, hitting at 289. 44 stolen bases, leads the majors. And a foul tip there that gets a piece of Hedges. Not the head, looked like the hand this time.
So he's got the strap holding on the glove there on the wrist. Looked like it was off the heel, huh?
Or the tip, tough to tell. Is it tip?
Tough to tell. Can't tell from that angle.
On the ground, back to Chacin on the backhand. He picks it. Throws to first, 2 down. I've seen Chacin field his position very well all season long. In that ready position, ready to go. Yep. Sharply hit right there. 2 down.
Pretty athletic. He moves around the mound quite nicely.
Two down for Zach Cozart. Walking a single. He scored a run. Yesterday coming off the 10-day DL. First start since July 24th. And a quad injury had him on the DL for the Reds. First time All-Star this year. 3rd Reds shortstop to start for the National League. Joined Barry Larkin and Dave Concepcion.
2 pretty good shortstops.
And the first since Larkin to make an appearance, start at shortstop, an All-Star game for the National League. And a base hit of the All-Star game was off Dylan Betances. Strike call outside corner, and it is 2-2. Cozart tonight has walked and singled, so scored a run. Swing and a miss. Slider again, and that one strikes out Cozart. That ends the inning. That's the 4th strikeout for Jhoulys Chacin. The Reds have got themselves a 3-2 lead through 5 innings. Summary, and Joey Votto back in the 1st inning with an RBI single to right field. It would score Billy Hamilton, who had tripled, and got the Reds on the board 1-0. Joey Votto shortening up and hitting a 2-run home run in the 3rd inning to put the Reds on top 3-0. His 30th home run of the year. Padres would have an answer though in the 4th inning after his Wahe had doubled. Jose Pirela with a 2-run shot off the facing of the upper deck. Padres back within a run. It is 3-2. Chacin so far in 5 innings, giving up those 3 runs. Tim Adelman chased from the game after 4 2/3. Home run for Pirela, his 2-run shot, and Votto, his 2-run shot. He's driven in all 3 Reds runs in the game.
Boy, the numbers really told the story about Adelman as the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd time around. Perfect 1 through 9, and then the Padres got to him.
Well, Michael Lorenzen becomes the 3rd Reds pitcher of the game.
Look at the guns on this guy. See the biceps on him? Look at his right bicep.
He's jacked.
Smokes. He's jacked.
He's jacked. I would wear a tighter uniform if I had that.
Shorter sleeves?
Yes. I'd show him off more.
You got it flaunted?
Kind of a gun show. But I don't have that. So I don't wear tight stuff.
Fastball mid-90s. 95 to 97. Throws a slider, curveball, cutter, pretty much everything. But his main go-to pitches are that fastball, the cutter, and slider.
Fouled at the dish. Full count still to Solarte.
That's 97 right there for you.
Blake Wood faced one hitter. Jose Pirela came in with 2 outs, tying run at 3rd base, runner at 1st, and Pirela to ground out to 2nd base. Just a 1/3 of an inning, but a big out.
A lot of ink.
On the ground, high hopper for Jeanette. And the 1st out of the 6th inning. So 1 out, and Will Myers coming up for the 3rd time. That's the starter tonight, Tim Adelman for the Reds. No success. He grounded out to 3rd base and struck out looking his last time up. So 0 for 2 for Myers. And a pretty good hitter, has been used as a pinch hitter 3 times this year by Brian Price coming off the bench. Myers fooled, and it's even at 1-1. Myers shows some signs to you of coming out of the slump in Pittsburgh?
The one thing, yes, and the one thing that I think Will Myers does when because he's streaky, he seems to be a streaky guy, right? Using center field, right center field, going the other way. And I know it sounds, well, not doing that, swinging at strikes.
Strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. 0 for 3 in the ball game, 2 down.
On that particular pitch, and Lorenzen throws that slider down out of the strike zone. The front side opens up quickly. The hip, the shoulders, the hands drag. Before you know it, you're trying to catch up and just make contact to stay alive for a foul ball, and it's a swing and miss.
2 down in the 6th, and Hunter Renfroe struck out swinging and walked. With 20 home runs on the year. Trying to have a big series, I think, here in this 4-game series here. Great American Ballpark where the ball flies. Well, the day after the Padres score 5 or more runs, get 50% off any regular menu price online order at papajohns.com. Enter promo code Padres5. Popped up into shallow center. Jeanette out. Hamilton in, and it's Jeanette, second baseman, out there to make the catch that ends the inning. Padres down in order. Reds have a 3-2 lead. to you by T-Mobile. And Max Scherzer wondered how he'd do after the neck spasm. 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 8 strikeouts. They're tied 2-2 in Miami right now, with Mike Trout celebrating his 26th birthday against the Orioles, hoping for more of the same, homering in his 21st, 22nd, and 24th birthdays. We were talking about the Cubs earlier, and their starting pitching has been better, and so is Jake Arrieta. 6 starts, 2.08 earned run average, taking on the Giants.
Yeah, Mike Trout going into tonight, 999 career hits. How about this little nugget? 429 of them extra bases.
Wow.
And then Jake Arrieta, 7 career starts against the Giants, a nice record of 4-2, and even a better ERA of 1.97.
Joey Votto has had a good night tonight. Single to drive in a run in the first inning. Hit a 2-run home run in the 3rd inning, so he has supplied the Reds offense, driving in all 3 runs. Chacin pitching here into the 6th inning. Seven innings last time out for Chacin against Minnesota.
Ooh, pretty good pitch. Probably the last inning for Chacin. 7, 8, and 9 due up next half for San Diego. So hopefully a clean, crisp bottom of the 6th here for the right-hander. Keep it at 3-2.
Down the left field line, but foul. Votto, who has homered tonight, has homered in the past against Chacin. Petco Park in San Diego. One more tonight off Chacin, so 2 altogether.
That's a gap-to-gap type guy, isn't it?
Yes,
Don?
it is.
Right? You know, the one in San Diego was a fastball in, choking up on the bat. Better for him to get to. And the one tonight was out and away a little bit.
Does a lot of that, too, walking, and he walks here to begin things in the bottom of the 6th inning.
You know, as we take a look at Andy Green on the right, Mark McGwire, the bench coach, on the left. Even though the gentleman on the right is the manager pulling all the strings, believe me, Mark McGwire, he's in the ear of Andy Green. Andy Green asks him a lot of questions, his perspective on things, right? That's what a bench coach is for. But the bottom line is, Mark McGwire, in his own way, is managing this game in his mind, right?
Sure.
He's looking at the scorecard, look who's coming up next.
It's interesting how different managers, how far along they look. Different guys will look further along in the game as to what they want to do. In the air to center field, struck pretty well by Duvall. Back goes Margot at the wall, and that ball is gone. 2-run shot for Duvall, his 25th of the year. And the Reds take a 5-2 lead here in the 6th inning. The walk and the home run.
You look at players that get traded, and you look at the teams that they go to and how well they will benefit. Could there be a player that could benefit more hitting in this ballpark than Adam Duvall, coming from the Giants to the Cincinnati Reds in 2015? I mean, I think this ballpark is going to fit him quite nicely. Home runs last year, Duvall. And you know, it's nothing against Adam Duvall, but Don, if you play Adam Duvall, let's say every day in San Francisco, hypothetically, as you know, he gets 550 at bats, is he going to hit 33 home runs? Probably, you know, probably not.
He will here.
He will here in this division, yeah. And that's nothing against Adam Duvall. The guy's got a good swing. He's got some pop in that bat.
2-run shot here in the 6th inning. Scooter Gennett now waiting on an 0-2 pitch. Check swing in the dirt. Did he go? No. to check with Chad Whitson, third base umpire. Votto started this inning by walking. Tom McGrath up in the pen for the Padres right now. McGrath from nearby Louisville, Kentucky.
They say Louisville, though, right?
Yeah.
Louisville?
Some do, some don't.
How do you say it?
I said Louisville.
Too much of an in there. I think it's Louisville.
Well, my wife is from Louisville and she doesn't say it that way. But if you do, that's fine. In the dirt. Anyway, I was making a point. The walk at the beginning of the inning.
Yes, it hurts you.
84 walks on the year. Compared to 56 strikeouts on the year. That is strike 3. Jeanette strikes out. But he had ball 4. Gets some bad news. So my point is, more walks than strikeouts for Joey Votto. It's usually the case.
Very, very few players have that. Can do that.
Over 100 pitches now. It's Jhoulys Chacin. And Suarez coming up here for the Reds. Suarez flied out to center field in the second. Walked in the fourth.
That's great command of the strike zone, knowing the strike zone, bat control, staying alive to foul pitches off and work that walk, right? That's what I gather from that Joey Votto statistic.
I didn't hear you, but I'm sure you're right. I was talking to the truck.
I know you were.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's all right. That's just going over the Joey Votto numbers and kind of explaining why he has those numbers the way he does. Great command of the strike zone. Great bat control, fouling off pitches, working a walk, and the more you foul off pitches, the fewer times you strike out. So hence more walks than strikeouts.
Makes sense. But he's got power too.
Yes.
Which is the part that makes it different. 30 home runs now in the year.
That's amazing.
I mean, you see a lot of guys who are strikeout guys with 30 home runs, because it's either a strikeout or a home run.
Yeah,
they're swinging.
They're punching out 160 times a year.
This guy's not. In there for a strike, breaking ball, and Suarez thought he had ball 4. Full count. Fly to center and walked. Third plate appearance against Chacin. Trying to work his way through the 6th inning. Has not got out of this inning yet. Here's a little flare that Myers goes back to make the catch on. Jesse Winker coming up. Jesse Winker coming up now, has struck out. Popped up, foul ground. Back is Hedges, and that will end the inning. 2-run home run though for Adam Lubal, and it is now 5-2 Reds. 5-2. Reds have the lead over the Padres thanks to a 2-run home run last inning by Adam Duvall.
You know, we mentioned earlier some mistakes thrown by both sides. Jhoulys Chacin, just that one mistake, got taken advantage of off the bat of Adam Duvall for the 2-run shot. Well, there's still plenty of baseball left. Only trailing by 3.
Austin Hedges leads it off here in the 7th inning. Hedges 0 for 2. He's grounded back to the mound and fouled out down the right field line. Look out. Kind of diving into that pitch almost. Fastball coming up and in at 95 miles an hour.
Talk about quick reaction. Lorenzen wants this one down and away. Yeah. You know what? We have the luxury of watching on replay, and you can see it's really not that close. But I tell you what, a ball coming in that quickly, that'll get your attention.
On the ground and by the dive of Cozart at shortstop. Out to left field, Austin Hedges with a base hit to begin things here in the 7th inning. His first hit of the night.
Well, the Padres need multiple base runners here and a nice start, staying on that ball, hitting it sharply up the middle, taking it back, using the big part of the field on the ground, even though it's the 6 hopper. Looks like Cozart was playing him a little bit over towards the third base side, beating that shortstop diving for it.
Time called, something in Dusty Coleman's eye. Grounded back to the mound in the 3rd, doubled in the 5th inning. Michael Lorenzen came into the game in the 6th at a 1-2-3 6th inning. And a ground out strikeout and a pop out, but leadoff base hit by Hedges. There's Corey Spangenberg, who's come out on deck. He would bat in Chacin's spot. Fastball into Coleman. In the air down the right field line, headed towards foul ground and a foul ball. Well, Coleman was at third base with the infield in when Margot grounded to Cozart at short, and Coleman was out at the plate. Would have been the tying run at the time. Infield in for the Reds, worked that time.
Yeah, you know, a lot going on there because Dusty's anticipating the ball being caught out in front of home plate, so he's going foul. That ball took Barnhart foul, and then Dusty has to make an adjustment to try to slide on the fair side of home plate.
Strikes out this time. First K for Lorenzen.
It was just a very tough play as a base runner.
Comes Corey Spangenberg pinch hitting. That is the night for Jhoulys Chacin. Throws 108 pitches. Allows 5 runs in 6 innings. Again, had a 3-game winning streak coming into this game. Reds pitching coach back out there again. As he will give the scouting report here on the pinch hitter, Corey Spangenberg.
It was a pretty neat story, heartwarming story last year about Michael Lorenzen. He was on the bereavement list because of the passing of his father, who he was very, very close to. And went back for the services, came back, activated. First appearance back out of the bullpen for Michael. Pitches an inning plus, gets an at bat. Hits a home run. Very emotional time for the right-hander. Great story.
Spangenberg going after that 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
At that time, it was just the 4th time that he batted. So, you know, he's a reliever. He's a reliever.
Right. Spangenberg pinch hitting here for Chassin, who has grounded out. And Chassin also had a sacrifice bunt while he was in there, and a good hitter in his own right as far as pitchers go. But it's Spangenberg batting with 1 out and 1 on. And a check swing on a pitch in the dirt. Did he go? No. Check with Chad Whitson, third base umpire. Swing and a miss. Spangenberg goes after that fastball, and that's the hardest one he's thrown at 98. Back-to-back Ks for Lorenzen, and now 3 in all. And the right-handed reliever.
Good run. Good arm side run to the lefty Spangenberg on that 98-mile-an-hour fastball. That looked like a high two-seamer away.
Just took off.
Yep.
Hedges, who singled to begin the inning, still at first base with 2 down. And well, Margot did a double in the 4th inning. Was caught trying to stretch it into a triple. Thrown out at third base. 1 for 3 night for the Padres center fielder. Back at that fastball, headed down. In the dirt, it'll get away as a swing and a miss and a throw down, not going to get him. So reaching will be Margot as Hedges takes second base. Pitch in the dirt, even after it.
Yeah, drop third strike, hot potato, live baseball, got to go. Two outs, even with first base occupied, right? Fewer than 2 outs, first base occupied. Don't have to worry about it, but extend the inning.
Brian Price going to do a double switch here, it appears, as he comes out. Going to make the change here with 2 down in the 7th inning, and the Reds on top 5-2. We step aside with the pitching change from Cincinnati. Brought to you by Jerome's Furniture, where Jerry's price is the lowest price every day. And by Petco, where the pets go. Back in Cincinnati at Great American Ballpark, where the Reds have a 5-2 lead. Padres have a couple on here and a double switch. Former Padre Patrick Kiblahan taking over in right field. That in the 9th spot. Pitcher spot now is 7th with Winker coming out and into the game. Wandy Peralta.
Peralta, another live arm out of that Brian Price bullpen for the Reds. 4-seamer and a sinker. Pretty much 4 sinkers at 97, 98. Also throws a slider and a changeup. From the left side. Only one southpaw in that bullpen for the Reds.
Renson leaves after an inning and 2/3. Good strikeout 4. Responsible for the 2-men on.
Wandy leads the pitching staff with 49, now making 50 appearances. Half a hundo for Peralta.
Edges at second, Margot at first.
That's some gas right there from the left side, isn't it?
98 for you.
Last 16 appearances, a 1.65 ERA. That's over 16 1/3. Only 3 earned runs.
It's been a 2-hit night for Suaje. Double and a single. Rattles it foul down the left field line, out of play. Grass still up. It was last inning. Jose Torres was also up. Very defensive cut there and tried to stop it, but fouled off to even the count at 2-2. Run at the plate right now for the Padres with 2 down in the inning. And a little dribbler that is a fair ball, and that is out number 3. Home plate umpire Mike Everett jumped out there aggressively to make the call, and Barnhart, the catcher out there, will apply the tag that ends the inning right in front of the plate. And we will get a look here at this final out as the Padres, whether or not they're going to challenge it. Green is coming out here to talk to the home plate umpire.
Chopped. Okay, it's where he touches it. Kind of tough. Happened so quickly.
Andy Green making defensive changes here. So we will head to break. Padres trailing 5-2. Into the bottom of the 7th inning. 7th inning stretch is presented by your San Diego Hyundai dealers. The Reds holding on to a 5-2 advantage. Padres with some changes defensively. Staying in the game is Corey Spangenberg after he pinch hit last inning as part of a double switch. Moving from third to second is Solarte. And the new pitcher is Kyle McGrath.
Was out there on the hill a few days ago in Pittsburgh. Big arm swing right over the top of Kyle McGrath. Made his major league debut on July 30th versus the Pirates. Pitched a perfect 7th inning with 2 strikeouts. His second appearance for the Padres. Third. Check that. Third.
We talked about earlier. Born in Louisville, Kentucky, resides in Louisville, Kentucky. Attended Eastern Kentucky University. There's a pitch outside. Strike call.
36th round pick in the 2014 draft.
That's deep.
Love that though.
On roster invitee to spring training. Saw him during the spring. Barnhart grounds it foul outside of third. Last half inning display right at the plate. Barnhart aggressively coming out. That ball ends up trickling fair. Toward the home plate umpire Mike Everett. Ruled a fair ball.
It's where it's touched. Yeah, it looked like that ball was right on the line, huh?
Yep.
On the right side of that foul line.
By the tag, inning over. Threat over for the Padres. Grounder up over the mound towards short. Dusty Coleman for the first out here at the bottom of the 7th inning. So Barnhart retired.
You know, that's a play where I tip my cap to the umpires, because Mike Everett, he did a great job of getting out behind home plate and getting a good view of it. You know, umpires have to be positioned in certain situations to get a good view, and he did just that. So a little love to the umps. You know what? Next time you're out there and you see an ump, give him a hug. Tell him you love him. Hug an ump. I said it.
Patrick Kiblahan, the former Padre. Part of the double switch. Kiblahan going into right field for Jesse Winker last inning. It was 77th game with the Reds. 207 average, 6 homers, 14 runs batted in.
When's the last time you hugged an umpire, Donnie?
I don't know that I've ever hugged an umpire, to be honest with you.
Well, they deserve some love too. Might have to go down to the umpire's room and just pay him a visit and tell him how much I appreciate their hard work. And
I've shaken a lot of their hands, but I'm pretty sure I've never hugged one.
I've hugged an ump before. Mark Carlson.
Mark Carlson, the pride of Joliet, Illinois.
Yeah.
The biggest thing to come out of Joliet, Illinois. Besides the Blues brothers, Mark Carlson and Larry Grant.
Best catcher in Joliet ever, Larry Grant.
A little bit high for ball 3. So Chassin with the first go ahead. What do you got?
Now, I was just going to say McGrath, not a hard thrower by any means. He's got to, you know, spin it, hit his spots below the hitting speed, try to catch guys off balance. And that's his fastball there at 85. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the San Diego Padres. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the San Diego Padres.
1 out, 1 on. Top of the order. Billy Hamilton coming up.
Did you know 10,798 batters have walked this season? 10,798. 2,728 have scored a run. That's 25% of the time.
So the moral of the story is don't walk anymore.
Right. Walks will come around. And I thank whoever it was in the truck, because I posed that question to them a couple of innings ago, and they came up with that. So thank you very much. Is that Chiron Bob down there? Chiron Bob. He's working the keyboards down there and getting that information.
25% of the time.
Yeah. He's got the half gloves working.
Little check swing dribbler down to first base. Myers going to go to second base out there as they get the lead runner in Kiblahan. So 3-6 on the force out. Hamilton will reach at first base now, 2 down.
Charging to that baseball, and we've seen Will Myers do that plenty this year. Has it in mind that he's going to get the lead runner, no hesitation whatsoever.
So 2 down, runner at first, and Zach Cozart coming up. Walked in the first, singled in the third, struck out swinging in the fifth.
Oh, he's got the oven mitt in case he swipes a bag to protect that hand. You know, were you working the game? I have an issue with that because that's longer than his fingers, it looks like.
So it's like an extension of his hand.
Yeah.
Gets to the base faster if he's stealing. He leads the majors in stolen bases, by the way, too. .44. Line foul outside of third. Cozart has walked, singled, and struck out.
That foul ball right there is the perfect example of what I'm talking about, letting the ball travel. When a guy doesn't throw that hard, you know, you see how far he's catching that ball out in front, and it's foul. It's really tough for guys the first time around, I think, to really stay back and let the ball get to you and then bang.
Where if you're used to 95, 96 and you're getting 85, 86. Fly ball down the left field line, foul.
See, out in front of it.
Taking over for Chassin, who gave up 5 runs in 6 innings. 5 hits. Walked 3, struck out 5, and on the hook. Came in at 11-7. High drive to left field. Pirella going back onto the warning track at the wall, and that ball is gone. Zach Cozart with his 13th home run of the year. It's a 2-run shot, and the Reds open up this game on top now 7-2. Fouled a few off out ahead. Not this time. He straightens it out.
Yeah, stayed back just enough. It was up in the strike zone. I think even out of the strike zone. Austin Hedges wanted it up. He gave the sign. He gave the glove up. Just didn't get it up there enough. 1 and 2. Sent it on its way.
McGrath had 2 outs in the inning, but surrenders the 2-run shot. Joey Votto has got a home run of his own. Reds have 3 home runs in this game. Votto, Duvall, and now Cozart. Duvall homered, part of a 7-2 Cincinnati lead.
What did I say the over-under for home runs in this series was 8?
You said 8.
We got 4 already this game combined.
I took the over.
Yeah, you did.
20th pitch of the inning coming up for McGrath.
I really didn't say 8. I said, what do you think, 8?
No, I think you said 8.
No, I didn't commit to 8. I don't think we can review the tape.
I think we could, but I think you said 8.
No, I said.
And I said I would take the over.
I said, what is the over/under for this game? What do you think, 8? I made a suggestion. I didn't lock it in.
Well, you set the line. Pitch for a strike over the inside corner.
I don't think
so that says to me that's what you thought. Let me think about it. Yeah, that's what I think you thought. 3-1 coming up here to Votto.
Gotta be careful here.
Fly ball, shallow left. Pirello make his way in and over towards the line to make the catch that ends the inning. But a 2-run shot in the inning for Zach Cozart. Reds have a 7-2 lead.
Oh, Cardinal fans are great. Best fans in baseball.
Seven to 2. Reds have the lead over the Padres. They add 2 more in the bottom of the 7th inning. Jose Pirello leading it off here against Peralta. Got the final out of the 7th. Jose Pirello with a home run of his own. 2-run shot in the 4th inning. And for Pirello, his 6th home run of the year. Pirello, Solarte, and Myers scheduled to bat here in the top half of the 8th inning. Fly ball to right field, struck pretty well. Kiblahan back on the track at the wall. He leaps, and that ball is gone. 2nd home run of the night for Jose Pirello. 2-run shot in the 4th, a solo home run to open up the 8th inning.
It's a carnival. 2-1. Fastball up. If you're going to pitch up here at this ballpark, you better get it up just a little bit more. This one, opposite field. Kiblahan with the effort. How close was it? Not even. First row.
First career multi-home run game for Jose Pirello. Ready on Harris Solarte. He'll take one to right field. Back goes Kiblahan again. This time he'll make the catch on the warning track. First out of the 8th inning. Solarte put a charge into that. And out number 1. Comes Will Myers, 0-for-3 in the game. Myers grounded out in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th, struck out in the 6th inning. 97 by Peralta and fouled back.
Now that launch angle was, what do you think? Judging,
Look,
okay,
I'd say low 30s. What do you got?
Well, remember the first home run he hit? What was that one at?
I don't recall. 16 or something?
I wrote it down somewhere. Anyway, Peralta's second home run was 37.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
33 to 37.
But it was much higher, and it didn't go as far. So that proves my point. The lower the launch angle, the farther it's going to go. The higher the launch angle.
You kind of made it seem like the 30s would be impossible. It'd be too high before.
I never said impossible, Don. Don't put words in my mouth.
I said, no, that'd be too high.
It's gone. That's all that matters, right? We can get right down to it.
This is hit well, but a foul ball down the left field line out of play. Let's revisit the keys to the game brought to you by your San Diego Honda dealers.
Well, the first one was harass La Jolla. And, you know, the Padres, they did get him out before 5. Tim Adelman, 4 2/3, but only 2 earned runs, 6 hits, and limit the long ball. Padres pitchers, 3 home runs allowed. Votto, Duvall, and Kosar.
Well, Carter Capps activated today, brought up with Buddy Bauman returning to El Paso. And he may see some action here tonight. Making his Padres debut if he does. Ground ball to short. Diving is Cozart. Throws out Myers. 2 down in the 8th inning. The All-Star shortstop laying it out there. Robs Myers with a base hit.
Plenty of time to get to his feet, gather, and Votto with the toe on the pillow to complete the play.
Comes Hunter Renfroe. Struck out, walked, and popped out in the game. Peralta is the 4th pitcher used by Brian Price in the game tonight. His starter Adelman did not go the minimum necessary to make himself eligible for a victory, as he went 4 2/3. Blake Wood came in, only faced 1 batter, but left that tying run at third base, and he's the pitcher of record right now for the Reds. On top 7-3. As Renfroe will take the high strike. Hunter didn't think it was a strike. Popped up right side. Joey Votto into foul ground and back into fair territory to make the catch that ends the inning. Home run by Barella. It is 7-3 Reds.
more consistency with mechanics. Early on, it was definitely just getting the arm strength and just getting the ball, like, feeling like it's coming out good instead of like trying to have to generate extra power, you know, because it doesn't feel like in the beginning like it comes out like you're used to mid-season form or whatever. So you definitely have to build that up like normal and then work on the mechanics.
Carter Capps talking about some of the mechanical changes that he's needed to make, and he's acknowledged that there have been a few down in the lower half, guys. So not only trying to get his arm back in shape after coming back from the Tommy John surgery, but making a few mechanical adjustments as well. We'll see what it looks like tonight on his birthday as he makes his debut as a Padre, guys.
Yeah, pretty cool. His 27th birthday, and here he is. We saw him during spring training, and he was working hard at that new delivery, trying to change everything he had done before to make it a legal pitch.
To keep that foot, which is in contact with the rubber, in contact with the ground as he drags and goes towards home plate. That's the issue. We know what Carter Capps can do when he's 100% healthy. I mean, this guy's got a live arm, some serious giddy up.
Duvall leading it off here for the Reds.
Andy Green was talking about it before the game in the dugout regarding that drag foot, keeping it in contact with the ground.
It's that back foot you're talking about, right?
The back foot.
Yep.
Because essentially, if you stride, you push off, right? With your push off foot. If that foot comes up off the ground, you're starting and then stopping and then starting again. You're getting an extra push almost.
You can't hop.
No, you can't hop. You can't do that.
It looks to me that it is on the ground much more than it was during spring training.
Yes.
Because in spring training, I don't think it was.
Yeah, there were a few times there. I agree with you. I was seeing the same thing.
He's worked very hard. Shifting on Duvall here on the left side, and that pitch away. And I can't even imagine him doing it this way and now having to change all of that, especially coming off the surgery he had.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. That's a great point, Don. It's like a hitter changing something very drastic. It's like any other athlete doing something since you've been a kid, right? And then having to change it. And then, like you said, you throw surgery in there.
Pirela takes care of out number one. One down here in the 8th inning. Will isolate the back foot here. Yep, dragging it all the way until the release anyway.
And you know what? You can see from the hole in front of the rubber, the drag, where the drag starts from that foot. And you know, it's a very herky-jerky motion, right? So to me, another thing would be being so herky-jerky on the bottom. I mean, that's just going to it's essentially like vibration going up through your body and then being consistent with the release point up top on the back end.
Now the difference may be here. This was a guy that was throwing upper 90s. Now the velocity a little bit different here. We saw 94 in that last fastball. So the drag now taking away perhaps less of a hop, less of the velocity.
Sure, could be. Absolutely. Good point. And maybe that helps with the location as well, right? I mean, location is key for any pitcher. Throwing 93 or 103. If I tried to throw a baseball like this, I'd blow out. Rotator cuff and Tommy John. It's just, you know, under the knife for me. Plus, I'd probably pull a hamstring, pull a boiler muscle. I just, you know,
I don't think you could pull.
I'd be a white hot mess.
Can you pull fat?
I've pulled fat many times.
Check swing foul, back to the screen.
You know, like in the movies, the guy who has the skiing accident and they show him in the hospital. He's got the body cast on,
traction
with one arm, like with it held by a rope, and it's just got the mouth open and the eyes. That'd be me after trying to throw like Carter Capps.
2-2 pitch coming up here to Scooter Gennett with one down in the 8th.
You know what's amazing to me too? When Carter Capps, okay, he drags and that front foot hits out in front, where his arm is, it's like his throwing arm, his hand with the ball, it's like behind him. So he's got all this way to catch up to get up on top and throw. That's the amazing thing to me.
Payoff pitch to Scooter Gennett. And a foul tip at the dish.
Got a piece of Austin in that one.
Been tagged a few times again tonight. Nothing in the head though. Carter Capps with a 3-2 pitch to Scooter Gennett, one down here in the 8th. And a liner to right field. That's going to get down and head towards the right field corner. Gennett is headed to second base. Renfroe will dig it out. But Gennett has himself a one-out double here in the 8th. First hit of the night for the Reds' second baseman.
This pitch looked like it was in and up, and he got to it. Missing with location big time. He wanted that one down and away. And Scooter Gennett, quick with the hands, getting on top of that ball, keeping it fair as well for the double.
One out, Gennett at second base. Here comes Suarez, third baseman, who has flied out to center, walked and flied out to right. Capps breaking in the big leagues with the Seattle Mariners. 2012, 2 seasons, parts of with the Mariners, parts 2 years with the Miami Marlins. Bluffs off the backside, no throw. Big cut there. 0-2. Contra has come out on deck for the Reds. Good bat in the pitcher's spot.
Get that ball twice. See that?
Yep. Backswing. Got it again.
Foul. Off the bat on the backswing.
Gennett at second, one down here in the 8th inning. 7-3 Reds. Ball 1, 1-2. Total of 118 appearances in the major leagues prior to his first appearance here today with the Padres. Saw him at spring training. We thought we would see him in April at some point, but here he is, August the 7th, making his first appearance in a Padres uniform. 1-2 pitch. Fastball's been around 94 miles an hour. On the ground to third base. Spangenberg looks to runner back at second. Go to first for out number 2.
I think that ball came up on Spangenberg.
Alcantara going to pinch hit here for the pitcher's spot. So that is the night for Peralta, who ended up going an inning and a third, giving up a hit, the home run to Jose Perella. Didn't walk anybody, nor did he strike anybody out. Arismendi Alcantara, 178 average. Racine started the game in 6 innings, giving up 5 runs. Kyle McGrath went an inning, giving up 2 runs. Now Carter Capps in his Padres debut, working with 2 outs and a runner at second. And falling behind, 2-0. First of 4 between the Padres and the Reds from Cincinnati. This will get away, and to third base goes Jeanette. All the way back to the backstop for Hedges. Wild pitch charge to Capps here with 2 down to the inning. The potential run here 90 feet away.
Got to keep it in slam range, especially in this yard.
Ball 4. First and third now with 2 down to the inning. First walk allowed by Carter Capps. Time now for the Cardinals Jr. star of the game, and Joey Votto, an impressive night tonight. Votto with an RBI single back in the first inning would score Billy Hamilton for the game's first run. Then he hit a 2-run home run in the third inning. That'll put the Reds on top 3-0 at the time. Had a walk in the 6th inning, which set the stage for a 2-run home run by Adam Duvall. Scoring 2 runs, and that home run, incidentally, back in the 3rd inning, his 30th of the year.
That's a good year in the big leagues for Joey Votto. Talk about average, home runs, RBIs. He's in those lists, top 10.
Tucker Barnhart. The runners at first and third and 2 down. Runner goes at first, and this clanks off the glove of Hedges. So a stolen base at second base for Alcantara. Second and third now with 2 down in the inning. In the air foul. Barnhart batting for the 4th time in the game, 0 for 3. Fly down, grounded out twice. Buddy Bauman, incidentally, part of the change in roster today for the Padres. Bauman returning to El Paso with Carter Capps activated today.
Yeah, we wish Buddy well. I got a kind of a look-alike for Carter Capps.
What do you got?
I got a young Christopher Walken. Crazy. Kind of see it a little bit? A young Christopher Walken. Like pre-Deer Hunter.
I don't know if I ever knew Christopher Walken before Deer Hunter.
Yeah, it's a Rolls. Need more cowbell.
Ball 4, back-to-back walks allowed by Caps. All of a sudden now the Reds have the bases loaded with 2 down. And Andy Green is headed out.
Yeah, heavy workload this inning, and the first time out at the big league level this year, so good night's work for Carter Caps as far as pitches are concerned.
So the pitching change from Cincinnati with the Reds on top 7-3.
Alone, it's the biggest sport.
I'm just happy that this club here is like moving up and they're going in the right directions.
People want soccer here. People want to support something.
This community wants something, but I think they want a winner.
Tomorrow, Inside San Diego Sports explores San Diego's rich soccer culture. You'll hear from an established local pro team and another professional team that plans to build a stadium in North County. Tomorrow, tune in after Padres Live.
Phil Maton into the game. Tough spot here, 2 down, bases loaded. Patrick Kivlahan, the batter. It's a high fly ball towards deep right center field. Margot going back at the wall, and it's gone. A grand slam for Patrick Kivlahan. The former Padre taking it the other way to right center field and putting the Reds on top 11-3. Fourth home run of the night for Cincinnati, and this one's a grand slam.
Ouch. Maton trying to get ahead with the fastball. Kivlahan, knowing that he's probably going to try to do that, get ahead early, hunts the fastball, gets it, and breaks it wide open.
Now Billy Hamilton takes strike 1. So Carter Caps in his debut ends up going 2/3 of an inning and is charged with 3 of the 4 runs. Walk 2 to not strike anybody out. Grounder to short. Dusty Coleman will end the inning, but it is a 4-run inning thanks to the grand slam by Kivlahan. 11-3 Reds. of the game, and the home run tonight for the Reds, Joey Votto in the 3rd inning. Adam Duvall with a 2-run shot in the 6th inning. Zach Cozart in the 7th inning. This was a 2-run shot, and more recently Patrick Kivlehan with a grand slam. The former Padre puts the Reds on top 11-3. For Joey Votto. Reds 11 runs, 8 hits, no errors. Padres 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors. And Kivlehan with a grand slam in the 8th as we play to the 9th. Let's bring in a new pitcher. Right-hander Iglesias into the game.
Iglesias, their closer, obviously not a safe situation, but an inning of work here for the right-hander. 19 of 20, but that does not apply here. But you look at his other numbers: 53 2/3, 63 strikeouts. Big, tall, lean right-hander.
Austin Hedges with a single last time up and a 1-for-3 night for the Padres catcher. And 19 scoreless appearances at one point through the middle of the season. April 28th through June the 8th, 19 appearances without allowing a run. Converted his first 12 save opportunities of the year before Corey Seager grand slam. Swing and a miss. Austin Hedges strikes out for the first out of the 9th. Well, tomorrow night, game 2 of the series between the Padres and the Reds. It is Luis Perdomo looking for his 6th win of the year. 4.92 earned run average. Sal Romano on the mound for the Reds, 2-3, 4.88 ERA. 4 p.m. start time on Fox Sports San Diego. Second city of this 3-city tour. A first pitch strike to Dusty Coleman with 1 down here in the 9th inning. Coleman 1 for 3 as he doubled back in the 5th inning. Down 0-2. Swing and a miss, and Iglesias makes quick work of Coleman. 2 down here in the 9th inning. Back-to-back Ks of Hedges and Coleman to begin the 9th.
Good breaking ball right there. Kind of a low 3/4 delivery also from Iglesias. Tell you what, with the way he throws, Iglesias means church in Spanish. Tell you what, as a hitter, you got to pray you make even contact against this guy with the stuff that he has.
Roy Spangenberg struck out in the 7th. Down to 1-1.
This is coming right at you, and why not? With an 11-3 lead, fastball up above the belt buckle.
Swing and a miss, and it's 2-2. Looking to record his 3rd strikeout of this 9th inning. Two pitch. On the outside corner for strike 3. Spangenberg 1-2-3, ninth inning for Iglesias. Strikes out the side in succession. And the Cincinnati Reds take game 1 of the series.